Hi, Italia Autos here. Welcome back to another video on my channel. In this episode, I'm going to finally be working on this green GTV V6 that I've had in my workshop for the last 2 years. So please stick with me and I'll let you know what's going to be happening to it. So the story with this is, I bought it about 2 years ago. I bought it off a garage and it had been sitting in their forecourt for 8-9 years. The original fault on it was an immobiliser issue. It wouldn't turn off, which is very common on these GTVs. They had several auto electricians out to it to have a look at it. Fortunately, they couldn't fix it, so the car just got laid up for so long. Guy then had to get rid of it because he was leaving his job there, so the vehicle had to be moved on. So that's where it came into my possession. Got it back to the unit, couldn't resist it, had to start messing with it straight away. Fixed the immobiliser problem within 5-10 minutes. It was just a sticky relay, which is what I thought it was when I was buying it. So that was all sorted. Before I'd even attempt to start it, I decided to change the cam belt. And this is where we ran into a little bit of a problem with it. So this is why I've never really touched it much over the last 2 years, because it's going to take quite a bit of time to get this running again. So let's have a look under the bonnet. Now I have already started stripping it down to do the cam belt. I have also started stripping a lot more down because the fault with it, can any of you see it? Yes, if you look at the front bank, can you see something a little bit weird? For those that got it right, yes, you can see straight through the head into one of the water jackets. There's a massive hole there, and it's also looks as though it's cracked along there as well. So yeah, unfortunately, this beautiful low mileage engine has been wrecked purely for the fact that I do believe it was in storage with just water in the cooling system. So when we had a few bad winters, the water inside was frozen and expanded and cracked the head. From what I can tell, the rear head is fine because it's sort of further back in the engine. It's more protected from the elements. But the front bank, unfortunately, it's taken the brunt of the frost damage. So a lot of people probably wouldn't have seen this sort of damage before. But this is what happens when you don't have the correct amount of coolant in your vehicle and you leave your car standing for a while. So I had started stripping it down, ready to take the head off it. We're almost ready to pull the head off, but I sort of gave up because I ran out of time. I've been ever so busy this last 2 years, believe it or not, and I just didn't have time to start working on it. So what's happening now? As of a couple of months ago, I decided I didn't have the time to complete it, so I thought, right, let's get it sold. Advertised it on Facebook and sold it without any issues at all, as I say, because it's a genuine 48,000 mile car. The inside, although dirty and a little bit grubby, is in very good condition. It just needs putting back together where the auto electrician has been messing with it for so long. So what's happening now? The vehicle has been sold to what is now one of my customers. I didn't have time to do it as it had been sitting here for 2 years, and I thought, I'm not going to break it. I'm not going to sell it to anybody that is just going to break it up themselves, because I think this is one that's definitely worth saving because it's a V6, because it's low mileage. Yes, it's going to require lots of TLC and bodywork, mechanics and everything to get it pristine again. But I think this one will be one of the cars which goes up in value in a few years' time. So it's definitely worth spending some money on this one. I will try and show you a little bit of the interior. Yes, it's all a little bit grubby and cobwebby, but it's all present, accounted for. It's also got the original phase 1 stereo. The screen has unfortunately gone. I don't know if it works or not, but it is in pristine condition as well. There's very little to no wear on the buttons at all. The driver's seat bolster, if you can see that, although a little bit mouldy and could do with a little bit of recolouring, it is in fairly good shape. My original plans for it were to rebuild this engine because it's a low mileage engine. I was just going to get another head, swap all the valves over, get it all refurbished, stick it all back together. I would probably take the rear head off as well, just to inspect that for damage and get it pressure tested. And then just rebuild this one and make it look like new. But customer's decision, this is all coming out, it's not being used. What the customer has given me is another GTV V6, which is in quite a bad shape. Unfortunately, I do believe he hit a tree, a rather large tree looking at the damage. The front end is absolutely twisted. The side of the car, let me walk around and show you, is also quite damaged. All the frame is bent. There's also a fair bit of damage underneath as well. So I think he almost might have gone airborne above the tree. I'll have to ask him how he ended up going into a tree. But yeah, everything on this car is going onto that car running gear wise. So engine, rear subframe, because it's all been polybushed, all the suspension's been changed over, the exhaust. There's been lots of modifications on this engine. And another problem we have with it is because the chassis has been pushed in. If you can see that damage there, we are at least going to need to put a cam belt on it, and I'm going to need to make sure there's been no damage to the engine. He does assure me that the engine wasn't running when it was taken off. He has already partially stripped it, that's not me, but he has been a good boy and covered the intakes for me, so there shouldn't be any dust and debris in there. So first of all, I'm going to be getting everything off this car and then getting rid of the scrap shell, because I'm running out of room in my workshop at the moment. I do need to create some more space. Bodywork wise on this one, it's not too bad. It has just picked up some battle scars because it was sitting in a garage forecourt for so long. There's been quite a few door dinks and other dents around the vehicle, and a few scratches and a few naughties, chavvy elements that need taking off. A few light scrapes around it. I think that's probably just a bit of dust, to be honest. Rear light bars in perfect fine working order. This side seems to have taken the most damage. You've got a dent here where it looks like the aerial's been pushed in. There's a little dent there. There's a scratch along the quarter, starting to have some lacquer peel. We've got, I don't know how that's happened there, but a big massive gouge in it. And a few dents along the front door. Now, my 2 years of ownership of this, I don't remember actually having a look at the underside of it, so let's have a little look now and see what the condition's like. Front subframe isn't too bad, to be honest. A little bit of corrosion at the end there, but nothing that wouldn't be refurbished. Again, it's just flaking of the original coating of paint. I think the worst hit part is the chassis stiffener, but again, it's only surface rust. Onto the passenger side floor pan. Normally you get a lot of rust here, and there's very little there at all. The sills are free from jacking damage on this side. There is a little bit of damage there, but that's nothing to worry about. And now let's have a look at the driver's side. Again, very good condition. A little bit of rust starting to come through there, but again, that is very minimum indeed for a car of this age. Rear suspension. Spring pans still seem fairly solid, other than it being covered in loads and loads of dirt. It seems as though this could have been salvaged with a good hour of pressure washing. Now all the tyres, as I would expect, are going to be absolutely knackered. Look at all the cracking in that sidewall. And you will now see, look at that for damage. Believe it or not, this tyre is still holding air. So have a look at the other ones. Again, yeah, major cracking in the sidewall. I do think it had 2 new tyres put on it, or 2 used tyres put on it when I picked it up because they were flat. But yeah, those rear tyres are still holding air. Also, after 8 years, well 10 years effectively now, the alternator hasn't seized. So there we go, this is the next major project I'm going to be doing on the channel. What do you guys think about it? This one is definitely beyond repair, but what do you think of the green one over there? Would you have saved it? Would you kill it? I know a lot of you, when I did a video on the silver GTV, the £100 one, a lot of you wanted me to save that one, but one of the reasons I didn't save it was because I knew I'd got this big job to do, and I will more than likely want to nick some bits of trim and stuff off it. So if you do want any parts off that silver GTV, let me know and I'll gladly sort those out for you. So the next step I'm going to be doing is stripping this one down first. Engine, exhaust, rear subframe, suspension, everything off this one. Get rid of the shell, and then I think we shall start by doing the rear subframe. So join me in the next episode and we shall give you a bit of a video on that. So thanks for watching. As I'm now saying in all my videos, if you're liking what you're seeing, please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, because it does do wonders for the eBay algorithms, YouTube algorithms. So yeah, so I shall see you in the next video.